Talks with Noelle. Talks with Noelle. Whatever day. Yeah. Who get a vibe? Who be the vibe? Talks with Noelle.
Welcome everybody and welcome to another episode of Talks with Noelle. I am your host, Noelle Francesca. And as you know, Talks with Noelle is a place where we deep dive into powerful conversations with those that are shaping creativity, culture, and the entertainment industry. So today, I am here with another guest. Today, we're going to be talking about director, the life of a director, you know, directing your path, directing a film, so stay tuned. Quickly, before we get into it, let me just let you know who I'm here with. I'm going to read the profile of my lovely guest. So today's guest is a powerhouse in global filmmaking. Stephanie Boateng is a Ghanaian British film director and filmmaker whose work spans across the UK, Ghana, and Los Angeles. With a master's from the New York Film Academy and a law degree under her belt, Stephanie has worked under industry heavyweights like Jimmy Miller and Charles Raven in LA. She's known for creating transformative content that highlights African stories, untold histories, and the experiences of the African diaspora. Her award-winning film Misconception, which won Best US Film at the European Cinematography Film Festival, was even screened at Warner Brothers in Los Angeles. Some of her notable works include Misconception 2017, which was a short drama awarded the Best US Film. It was screened at Warner Brothers in Los Angeles. Locked In 2020, a Ghanaian-based short thriller featuring, or starring should I say, Eric Kofi Abrefi. So for those that know him, this is the guy from Supercell. So in 2020, Stephanie featured and starred him in one of her movies called Locked In. It was selected for multiple BAFTA, Oscar, and Canadian Screen Awards qualifying festivals. 2023, we had Small Chops, which explores friendships, identity, and emotional tension, and it was featured in the Women in Film UK lineup. You may also know her for some of her commercial work and music videos. She has directed for artists such as Jules, Kim Promise, and Darker Vibes, and she has produced TV promos and short series pilots such as Johnny. Stephanie is a member of the BAFTA Connect, an advocate of equality, inclusion, and representation of untold African and diasporic stories. Stephanie is passionate about using film as a power tool to inspire, to inform, and to shift global narratives. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, help me welcome to the show, Stephanie Boateng. Woo!
That was a
wow,
crazy intro, but thank you.
I didn't even know you've done so much. I can't even lie.
You just reminded me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I was going through this like, wow, I didn't know you've done so much. So, Stephanie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So before we even get into it, where do you live? I have to ask because you're everywhere. You're in America one time, you're in Ghana, you're here. Where, if somebody asks me, where does Stephanie live? What answer should I give them?
I would say I'm a global citizen. I'm a nomad.
I love that.
Honestly, because I couldn't tell you. I could say, London as a base, but then also like I spent the first 4 months in Ghana this year. Right. So it's like, how can I say I really live here like that when I spend most of my time outside of the UK? So yeah, it's a situation that we're working on.
I love that. Okay, so you began your career in front of the camera. A lot of people don't know this, but you actually began in front of the camera. You was an actor. What inspired the transition though to directing and producing? Why are you now behind the camera?
I think it was like I started acting when I was like 11. I went to drama school and stuff. Right. The directing kind of took over when I was about 18. Okay. I had a commercial agent at the time. I was in this drama academy, and it was one of those things where I just wasn't seeing representation for myself. So I said, you know what? Let me start writing these shorts and just like push it out myself. And in the process of doing that, I was like, I love being behind the camera. I love the creation process. I love putting things together. I love being able to like help people get it together on screen as well. So it's like, it just became something that I really, really loved. And I was like, all right, this is literally my soulmate.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. What experiences and moments shaped your decision to focus on African and diasporic storytelling?
Well, because I'm from Ghana, I think it was just like an easy one for me. I've always wanted to tell stories on the continent, specifically Ghana, because there's so much stories to tell there. We got a rich soil. We have so many different types of cultures, even within Ghana itself.
Yeah.
And so it led me to want to be able to make it in Hollywood, to come back to Ghana and then literally help scale the scene. But I think what God had for me is you need to be on the ground there. You need to build on the ground with the people. And so that's what I've been doing. And I'm just seeing the response from the people that are just as passionate as myself that want to continue to see Ghana grow. So yeah, it's honestly been really great.
Amazing. I love that. And what would you say what differences have you noticed since, you moved out there? What differences have you noticed between the filming industry here and the film industry there? Because you've worked on both sides. So
yeah, honestly, I would feel like, for me, when I go to Ghana, I just feel like creating is like, it's second nature. Like, you don't have to think about it. It's like you go onto the streets and it's literally a set. Like Ghana, I say this all the time, yeah, Ghana is a comedy movie in action. Like when you're there, you're walking around, it's like you're already in a comedy. So it's so easy for me to just kind of like gravitate towards people, scenes, scenery, even like the backdrops. Like, it's so easy to create out there, and you have the freedom to kind of do what you want. I think the difference in the UK is that they are very much more structured, and whereas sometimes obviously that can be a good thing, also at the same time it can kind of impose limitations on how you can create. And so creating in the UK is very much like, it has to be done in a certain way. You've got to get your permits in order. You have to make sure like certain things are sorted out, whereas in Ghana it's like, look, let's get our camera tomorrow and shoot. And then you can just do it. So I think the freedom to create the landscapes that make it so rich out there in Ghana as well in comparison to the UK, and also just being able to kind of like go on your own terms.
Amazing. I love that. What was the first film project that you worked on that made you feel like, this is what I'm meant to do? Because obviously you've been in the industry since you were 11. So what was the first film project that made you feel like, this is what I should be doing?
Like kind of like inspired me to want to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what? When I was 5 years old, I was watching this little documentary thing, and it had Matilda in it, the actor. I think I was 5, 6 or something. And she was talking about her experiences as a child actor. And for whatever reason, at that moment, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then since then, literally, it's kind of moved me to want to tell stories. And I think what I gravitated towards in that story is that there's a kid with this big imagination, and then she has this power, and it's like just something that you can create. Like, you can use that kind of idea or concept and create a story of your own. And that's what kind of Matilda's world is like, a story that I guess resonated to me as a child. So yeah, that's the really random, but that's literally what made me want to start acting.
Okay, I like that. Now let's move and talk about, the creative process and, craft. So I need you to explain a few things to me. So we have an executive producer, then we have a producer, then we have a director, then we have an editor.
Yeah.
Especially producer, executive. What is the main difference between the two?
Producer and executive.
Yeah, because you've done both. So what's the difference?
So really and truly, producer just puts everything together. So they'll get the team together, they get the crew, cast, they're in charge of putting everything together. There are different types of producers, but let's just start off with just the basic thing is that they pull everyone together to bring into the project. An executive producer usually is the person that is funding or manages the money and how it's used. So they might have their own investors that are putting money in. They might be putting the money in themselves, but they have ultimately the power over the whole production because it's coming from their pocket or their resources. So they just oversee everything, but the producers are the ones actively putting things together.
Makes sense. Short and simple, short and sweet, guys. Very, very easy. Right, now let's also talk about, since we're on the creative process, so there's like a film or a movie, then there is a short film.
Yeah.
What else goes into that category? Because I know there's different things. So a short, what is considered a short film? How long, if we're talking in minutes?
A short film is anything between, it could be even 2 minutes, honestly, micro short films to usually short films aren't longer than like 30 minutes, but the average is about 10, 15. And I think that's like a sweet spot, especially if you want to, you know, submit to festivals, which is why a lot of people make shorts anyway, because they want to be able to submit to the festivals. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right, so when you're developing a story, what comes to you first as a director? The theme, the characters, or the visuals?
So if it's my own story, most of the time something has caught my eye. So visuals, so it'll be something I've seen walking around, something like that's resonated with me, and then all of a sudden there's a story in my mind about it. If I'm creating it for somebody else, usually it's just about what are your main themes, what is the story you are trying to tell, and then I take those and kind of like mold it from there.
Okay. Cool. And how do you navigate balancing artistic integrity with commercial pressures of filmmaking?
Honestly, I feel like I'm independent for a reason. I really don't like following the rules, because I think what it does is it just limits your creativity a lot of the time. And so I'm in a position where, I'm a director, but I want to executively produce the projects I'm working on. So I have the control and the freedom. A lot of people don't maybe know or realize that as a director, you are directing whatever the piece someone has brought to you is, right? If you're a producer or executive producer on a project, you have more creative freedom to do what you want. And so I think I managed it by not involving myself in situations or involving myself in productions that I don't really want to be in, just because of the fact that it's, you know, this is a production that people say you should be a part of or whatever. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't matter anymore. It's just about the art and being able to be creative and be able to have those, the opportunity to make those decisions for myself, because I'm at that stage right now. There was a time where I was like, oh, I need to, but I'm not at that stage anymore. I'm just like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. We're not going to mesh. It's okay. So,
So I take it you've worked under somebody where you've been limited in what you wanted to do because they were producing.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of the time I do vocalize like how I feel like overall the project can be better. And especially when you're working with other independent filmmakers, they're more open to saying, let's we want all these suggestions. But if you're working in like a corporate setting, or you're working with certain people, they want it how they want it, and that's it.
So how do you navigate, like, how do you decide which project to take on? What's your selection process, should I say?
Does it speak to me? What's the money saying?
Important.
And just like, how does this what is this gonna kind of like, is this gonna be beneficial for the both of us, essentially? So is it something that makes sense to take on right now, in terms of what I'm doing as well? Because there's a lot of projects I personally work on, so sometimes it takes up time for me to want to be able to work on other things, and I have to kind of make that decision as a self-employed, a freelancer, like what am I going to give my time towards, because time is money. So I just need to make sure that I know what I'm doing in that sense. So yeah, for me, that's what it is.
What's one filming or directing, because you've worn all the hats, so what's one misconception in the filming industry that people have that you wish they would unlearn?
I think some people just think it's like easy. It's easy to be successful in it. It's easy to just kind of like, oh, why don't you just do this, and then bam, you can be on this channel or put your work on this channel. They think it's just a case of, oh, you need to just know people and X, Y, Z, and it's more than that. Because I could tell you the people's contacts that I'm like, I've had contacts with people for years, or emails or whatever. Cool with some of these people, some of them I'm not that cool with, but they're there. It doesn't really matter. I think what matters is like you as a person. How diligent are you? How determined are you? Do you have the drive to want to do it? How passionate are you? And I think the biggest misconception, one of them, is that people just think it's just, you just sell across it and it's easy, and it's like, if you know this person, you could just do that within a year. So I think that's something I've learnt myself, because I came in quite naive when I was younger, and I was like, it doesn't work like that.
And on that, because you said you came in quite young and naive, what's a past mistake or like a learning curve that you would tell people who are coming up to avoid?
I would say you don't have to listen to everyone's opinions. And I say that because there's so many ways to not only be creative, but so many ways to monetize the creativity.
Okay.
I learned that a little bit later on. But I remember like I started like a YouTube channel, and I remember someone telling me, and I've had it for years, but I started posting, I started getting a lot of views. I remember someone telling me, a producer, that, you know, we were talking about a show that I want to do, and she was like, you might have to just pause on the YouTube because you don't want to kind of mix the two things.
Right.
So I stopped. And I regret doing that, because that is a way that I can monetize my creativity.
Right.
And that channel right now, years later, would have definitely been making a good amount of money if I was consistent with it. So I would say definitely that's one huge thing. Definitely.
I love that. Okay, now let's talk about the projects and the impact of your projects. Misconception and Locked In. I'm just gonna jump. Locked In, right?
Yeah.
Stars Eric Herbrefi. What's the connection like? Because obviously I had seen some of the stuff that he had done, but I know him now because of Supercell, and he's everywhere, you know. But what was that like? How did you get him? What was the process like?
So my good friend Kwame Augustine, we went to drama school together.
Okay.
He wrote Locked In, and he told me about wanting to do the project. He's friends with Eric, like, you know, they knew each other in the industry, and he was like, yeah, like, I think he would be a good person for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I trust you, let's do it. And so that's literally how it happened.
I love that. Now, both Misconception and Locked In received critical attention. What did you learn in making those films?
In Misconception, that was like one of my first, I wouldn't say first short films, but very, very early days in making short films. And I think what I learned from that is just, I learned a lot from that.
Give it to us, go on. Tell us all.
But one thing is just being able to like consider like how you're directing with some of the actors, because I had the cast were very different. Some people had more experience than others, some people had less experience, and it was just kind of maneuvering through the story and being able to like allow people to just have the time also to process their emotions before moving on to the next scene. Because a lot of the time we're working, it's like the time is really short, and especially with that production, like I had 2 days to shoot, and like the budget was like I couldn't afford to shoot more than 2 days. Right. So I think that also taught me something about timing as well, and just being able to like really utilize the time well when you're shooting, and know how to cut corners.
What's the shortest and the longest film you've shot so far? Like when I say shortest and longest, I'm talking in terms of how many days it took you to get everything together.
I was in that preparation.
Yeah, or like the actual, because you said that you had to shoot this one in 2 days.
Yeah.
So like, what's the longest you've had to shoot something?
Honestly, a lot of the things I've worked on, maybe like they've spanned across like not more than like 3 days.
Oh wow.
Because it's either a short, it's either a promo, it's either a music video, it's either like corporate. So it's something that doesn't usually take long to actually like put together, or it's on a certain kind of budget where like they can't afford to go an extra day. Right. So I would say that has been like maybe like three days, most likely. I think the shortest turnaround in terms of even planning was probably the most recent trailer that I put out there, Unpacked, because I left Ghana the same week we shot that. In fact,
tell me the story. Go on.
In fact, literally 48 hours. Yeah. Pulled the team together, shot it right, and then the next day had to do pickup. So I ended up jumping on as DOP because our DOP flew out to South Africa for another shoot.
That's director of photography, right?
Yeah, yeah. So like we got the main shots with him, but we needed some extra shots, and I was like, he's leaving, so I just had to jump on and do that. 2 days later, I'm leaving Ghana. So it was like, that was the quickest turnaround ever.
I seen that trailer, guys. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you go onto Stephanie's Instagram, which is steph.boateng, and go and check it out. And I finished that message that said, when's it out? Not knowing that it was only a trailer. But hey, yeah, they got the attention. So yeah. Okay, so can you tell me about your upcoming feature film? So I know you have your solo project you're working on. What inspired the story, and why do you feel like now's the right time to tell it?
So what inspired the story is, so I always wanted to, do a film in Ghana. Right. And I was talking to Wavy Jones. He's partnered with me on the project, so we conceptualized it together. Right. And essentially I was like, what is a story that kind of make sense to the current, you know, situation right now. What is kind of emerging right now, and that kind of came up because first of all, he's never been to Ghana before at that time.
Okay.
And also it was an experience where he was able to kind of discover a lot about the culture, even himself finding out he was part Ghanaian as well. So I felt like once we started talking, we were like, yeah, you know what, this is making sense. And we just conceptualized that together. And I think now is the right time because there's so many people wanting to, you know, go onto the continent, find out more about who they are. People want to like see this type of content because we're from Africa. Yeah. Wherever you're African American or wherever you know where you're from, like if you're black, you've originated from Africa. And I feel like these are the stories we should be telling because we've grown up in a society where we're watching all of these films and shows and we don't see representation and people that look like us. We don't see the stories from our ancestors. And I feel like that's really, really important. And there's so much to tell. So yeah, for me, it was that really kind of inspired us to kind of want to tell this story and just see it come to life. And I'm also want to be able to merge Africans and the diaspora together in film. And that's one of my main goals, like bringing Africans and the diaspora together in film, because that's how we create unity and that's how we're able to continue to build the industry when we all come together. So that I'm just so passionate about that. And that's really what kind of fueled me to make this film.
I love that. Now with being Ghanaian, but also being British, you know, living here, living there, living in America, all of that. What role or how important is Ghana for you in your storytelling? Like, how do you ensure that you're authentic? Because, you know, we see like the Americans or like the other not African countries play African, and the accent always throws me off because I'm like, we really don't sound like that. But like, how do you ensure that it's authentic when you're filming across these cultures? How do you...
I think you just have to know the place you're shooting at. I think you have to know the people. You have to be on the ground for a period of time and actually like explore yourself, talk with people, go to different places, because I think the best type of storytelling is when it's 100% authentic. It's coming from a real place. Even if it's a fantasy movie or, you know, horror, there's always something that you can pull and say, "Ooh, this could feel real because XYZ happened." So for me, it's important to really immerse yourself in the place, the country, wherever you're trying to film. It's important to immerse yourself in the culture. Even from me being from London, it's like there's certain things I didn't know about, you know, Ghana and what Ghanaians did and stuff like that until I was living there for that whole year in 2020. So it's really important to be able to touch base because then it creates a bigger barrier of understanding.
Now, like I said earlier, you know, you're Ghanaian, but you're British, born, lived here, everything. But when you moved to Ghana for that year in 2020, and then you came back, how has living in Ghana shaped your creativity?
I think it's just opened up a portal that I didn't know existed to that degree. Okay. So when I say that, as I said, I've always wanted to go back home and shoot and create content. That's always been a thing I've wanted to do ever since I started. However, I was able to be on the ground there and really experience like the real life, as I said, comedies and the real life situations that just make it such a beautiful place to tell stories. So for me, I think that just really opened up my creative limits, if so to say, because I felt like being in the UK feels limiting a lot of the times. As a creative, for me personally, I can't speak on anyone else, but just the ideas that I have and what I want to do, it never seems to translate to everyone here when it comes to agents or production companies that want to do stuff. So I think a lot of my work is very much Afrocentric, and it's not on purpose. It's just who I am. It's just the stories that are coming from a real place. So that's really what it is for me.
I love that. Now let's talk about leadership and representation. I know that, you know, representation of Black women, Africans means a lot to you in what you do. So hi guys, it's your girl Noelle Francesca. Thank you so much for watching Talks with Noelle. Quickly, I'm just going to pause the pod for a second. I need you to do me a favor. It takes less than 30 seconds, I promise. You're on our page right now, so I just need you to click on the subscribe button. Once you click on that, you'll see a little bell icon. I need you to click on that icon as well. Please set it for all notifications, and every time an episode goes live, you will be the first to be notified that an episode has gone live. So quickly, just make sure you click that subscribe button in the top, click the bell icon, set it to all notifications, and you see the bottom, make sure you click the like button. Remember to leave a comment, and also whilst you're here, you're enjoying the episode. Look at the way you've been smiling. Look at the way you're laughing. Look at the gems that you're taking from this thing. Whilst you're here, share that. Let somebody else also join in the experience, because what we aim to do is to bring you an experience. So make sure somebody else joins into this experience. Share it with them. Thank you very much. All right, let's get back into it. You're getting tired of me now. All right, I'm out. As a woman of color in film, what challenges have you faced personally in the industry, and how do you navigate them?
So I guess there's been a few different experiences. I would say, as a woman being in a like male dominated industry, sometimes there can be tensions that rise because people either don't trust in your abilities to be able to bring a production together, or they think they know better and they want to be able to kind of like, you know, share their opinion, but share it in a way which is not really respectful, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I think I've kind of gone on both sides of the coin, where I've been in different countries and experienced the different types of ways people behave. But I think for me, I've never allowed that to kind of hold me down or create any barriers to what I want to do and create. I just continue to do what I'm doing. The biggest thing that happens a lot of the time is when I say, someone asks me, oh, what do I do? And I say I'm a director. They're like, oh, okay. When they see my page, the note, it just changes up. They're like, oh, so you're actually like a director, like, and it's almost as if in their head they just had a different, you know, conception of what they think that looks like for me.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's good to prove people wrong sometimes, because it's just a testament to what God can do in your life, and I feel like definitely my life is a testament to God, because the things that I've been able to do up until now, and I know the things that I want to continue to do, I'm just leaving it to Him.
So would you say, because, you know, you've worked, like I said, across different countries, is the perception, let's say the one problem that you faced maybe in the UK, is that the same challenge that you faced in Ghana and when you're in America, or does every kind of like territory come with their own kind of challenge you have to navigate being a woman of color?
Yeah, I think every territory does have its own little things. There are things that are like simultaneously basically a line up in the industry, like certain things you would experience everywhere, like the cliques, the niches, the people that essentially is who you know, wanting to be able to like, you know, network and stuff like that. However, there's certain things that certain countries will show you more of, like, and I think, I mean, there could be a whole topic just on that alone. But definitely I would say that, also certain countries, you navigate almost different issues somewhere, somewhat. So, yeah.
All right. Now, what does true representation mean to you beyond cinema, and beyond casting? What is true representation?
True representation of
Africans in movies. What's that like beyond casting, like a black person just because they're meant to be African? What is true representation?
I think it's understanding where the person is coming from, understanding the intricacies of who we are as people. Even in Ghana alone, how many different tribes there are, how many different languages are spoken. So I think the more you delve in and do your research, the more you go to these places. Like, I've been to maybe one or two African countries where I haven't been able to spend time there, and I'm like, my goal is to travel across Africa and be able to go to these different African countries, because I want to be able to experience a wide span of who we are as people when I say African. But I think it's important to understand, it's important to do research, it's important to spend time with people, so you're able to offer a true representation throughout the different characters or people you might bring in your project. And I think people appreciate when you take your time to do that, and you can see when people don't take their time and there's rush jobs and rush films that just get put together because they're trying to fill quotas. So I think people feel it and people relate to it, and I think one reason why that trailer did so well is because people felt that this actually feels like a real situation here.
No,
like we
for
can
real.
relate to this.
Yeah.
And it's shot in Ghana. So the interest levels spike up because people want to see content on the continent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that. I have a question for you, actually. As you was talking, this question came to my mind. So in everything that you do, because I'm now deepened that not only are you a director, you're an editor, you're a producer, executive producer, DOP, you do it all basically. Which role would you say is your favorite in everything when it comes to film?
Yeah.
Which role would you say is your favorite? I mean, I know you as a director, I know you as an actor, but as Stephanie Boateng, which role is your favorite to play? Editor, director, producer, what is it?
Director, 100%. I like knowing that the vision and being able to put the vision together of the project. I feel like I love doing that. I love pulling it together and making sure the creative aspect of it, making sure that it feels seamless when you watch it, because you thought about how things are going to come together. You thought about the locations, you thought about the actors, you thought about the blocking. Like I love putting that all together.
Amazing. Now, how has being part of the BAFTA Connect shaped your professional development and, you know, your access to networks and resources? Because I watched your video on Instagram where you said that sometimes you just had to kind of guess, you know, emails and think of email structures of how it would be and send out your proposal or whatever. So how has like now being part of BAFTA helped you?
I think I could say two things. Number one, maybe I haven't been in London long enough or spent a lot of time in the BAFTA Connect as a member, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I do go there sometimes to do work and whatnot, and there's some events that come up. So I think it's good to be able to have the opportunity to attend some of those events, like when I'm around. But I feel like when I became a BAFTA Connect member, I felt maybe there would be like a whole different, you know, world and change. But what it showed me is that it's the same thing, different color. Like you just have to be able to know how to navigate these things for your benefit. And I think that's what it is in the industry. People might be around you, you might be have access to certain events or places, but how do you steer yourself amongst all these things? Because it's the same kind of a thing if you think about it. People want to do projects, people want to create things, but do they have time to do that right now? Is their slate full? You still have to be able to be proactive for yourself and navigate in a way which, you know, allows you to utilize that. So I would say personally it hasn't changed too much, but it's given me the ability, if I want to be able to tap into more of a network.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your voice work that you've done. So you also run your own production company. You do voiceover work. How do you manage everything you do? Like, you have such a vast portfolio. So how do you manage directing your stuff, directing for others, editing yours, editing for others, doing voiceover? How are you managing this?
So I think with a lot of difficulty. No. So I think basically, so with my company, it's essentially just motion, essentially filming and just putting things together. So motion picture, sorry, I was trying to get those words out. So that's the focus of it. So anything that I'm doing or working on, essentially, it's through my company. And so that's pretty kind of self-explanatory. I don't have to do too much. I mostly have people, if I'm working with them on a project or I'm producing a project, I'm sourcing those people out. They're independent contractors. Don't have to do too much, you know, on the paperwork, so it works. And when it comes to voiceover, it's something that I haven't really been doing recently at all. Like, I have a reel that I put out there, but it's something that I want to just kind of, I guess, tap into a little bit more. And so I'm going to kind of use my own creative license to do that with my own platforms.
I love that.
But yeah, that's not something that I focus on at the moment, and at this moment in time. It's more so just being able to pull together a production and using the production company to be able to just get things aligned when it comes to paperwork and stuff like that, really.
What advice would you give to somebody who is multi-talented and is like an emerging filmmaker, creative, like multi-hyphenated personnel that wants to go in the direction that you're going in. So they want to, they have their own company. They want to go into filming. Maybe not sure whether they want to be at the front or the back of the camera. But what advice would you give to somebody like that?
I would first of all ask, like, is this something you're passionate about? Like, if they don't know exactly what it is, are you passionate about film? Are you passionate about telling stories and putting together stories? And how badly do you want to be able to do it? Like, what is it? Are you just, this is nice as a hobby, or is it something that takes up your mind space? Like, daily you think about how you can continue to create, because I wouldn't say it's an easy path. I think it's really difficult, and I think that people don't see the behind the scenes. They see the shiny, lavish things, but they don't see the grind that goes on to being and making things. So I would definitely say, what is your why? And is your why strong enough?
Yep. I love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. Is your why strong enough? Question of the day. Vision. Let's talk about your vision and, legacy. What stories do you feel are still missing from the global cinema, especially when it comes to Africa and, the diaspora? What stories do you feel like we don't have enough of?
I would say, we're still kind of like working on putting out more, stories in a global cinema when it comes to just representation of all types of different Africans, if that makes sense. I think you have Nigeria, like with Nollywood, and you have South Africa, and them two in their own right. So just basically like smashing it, right? Yep. But I feel like we definitely need more stories that talk about where our ancestors, are really from, what they did. Slavery is always a big topic when it comes to when people hear the word ancestors, and I think aside from that blip in the road that happened, who were the people on the continent of Africa? What did we do? Trading, moving around, like who were the people that were key figures in being able to build Africa to where it is, like history. Kwame Nkrumah, like we need stories that really speak to who we are so we can understand more about our identity, where we're from, and that's on a bigger stance, because yes, I know I'm from Ghana, but there's stories and things that I've heard from elders who sat next to like the people of royalty, and those stories are the gold. Those stories are the stories that are gonna excite the younger children. Like I can see my kids watching movies like that and looking at where they're from and really be proud of where they've come from. So I think we definitely need more of those type of stories.
I love that. 10 years from now, what impact do you want your work to have made, or do you want your work to make 10 years from now?
I would definitely say that I want to be able to just build an empire where we're able to see Africans and the diaspora, anyone that is under that umbrella, come together and make film, unite each other. So I think the main goal for me is to have a place of our own where we're able to build, where we have the resources to do things. We don't have to outsource or get money from anyone else. We put money back into the continent and we pull money out of the films, and we have an ecosystem where people can work, where people have jobs, where we have studios that people can have access to, where we create the stories and the narratives that we want to see on the screen. And I think that's how I see it. I see like a Tyler Perry in Africa type, like where it doesn't matter what the industry think of you. We have our own thing going on, which is great. And we're going to continue to build, and we have the studios, like Disney want to rent out our studios. So that's where I see 100% like where I want to go with this.
I love that, because people always talk when Tyler Perry puts something out. People will always talk about it, but we're still going to watch it.
You're still going to watch it. That's
we're still going to watch it.
It doesn't matter.
We're going to be like, that wig changed from the last scene to now, but we're still going to, the continuity is bad, but we're still going to watch it.
It doesn't matter what you do with it. It's like he doesn't care about what anyone's thinking, because he has his group of people, he has his niche, and now Hollywood wanted him to still make some stuff. So for him, he's got the best of both his worlds. Like he's got his own content, and he's got people that really want to work and build with him as well on the other side of things. Like, so yeah.
I love that. Now, I know your mission as a director is to connect Africans and diaspora in film. You're co-CEO of the AMB, which is the African Movie Box. And you recently had a film mixer. So just tell me a little bit about it. What is it? How did it go? What was the aim of it?
So the aim of it was to essentially like just announce our presence. So A&B, African Movie Box, is an online platform which is all about film, anything film, Africa. Essentially, you have a database of Africans on there, actors, directors, producers. It's creating a space for the creative industries essentially within Africa, but we have the data. And I think one big thing that we don't have a lot of the time is the data, the information. We create films and you know, we watch these films and TV shows, but nobody really knows the details. Like, how much did the production cost?
Right.
What details are of the person that edited this or that and the other?
Right.
Most times you have the name of whoever's like the biggest person that kind of surrounds the credit. So we want to create a place where there's not only transparency, but we're able to have a creative space where people can tap in, they can find actors, they can find directors. We showcase some of the emergent talent on our website as well, so people can see what we're working with, and you know, eventually we can aim towards being a streaming platform too, potentially. But for now, we're just a database, a collective information, and we have a fund that we're building to help filmmakers basically grow and put money into filmmakers that want to create on the continent. So the mixer was essentially introducing that and being able to meet and network with people who are in the industry, and also just create make our presence known of what we want to do and how we want to best unite with people.
I know you had some interesting names come to, you know, your first one, right? First mixer.
Second mixer, but yeah.
Second mixer. Okay, so you had some, you know, interesting names. So just run me through who was there and, you know, what they spoke about, basically. Just a quick.
So just off the top of my head, because so KOD, so he's the head of diaspora affairs in Ghana. So he came and he was just like basically saying that this is the kind of initiatives they want to also partner with. Okay, so you know, there's something on the lines there that we're working with. And then you had the deputy head of the National Film Authority come by as well. Again, we was in discussions with them about how we want to best place A&B and just being able to, you know, connect with them on that part. And then you have producers, actors, directors that came as well. So a mixture of people from America as well that came out there. So yeah, it was good.
I love that. Now, as a filmmaker and a storyteller, what legacy are you hoping to leave behind?
I want people to be able to create and be themselves, not have to limit themselves to what they think has to be done, but be able to fully create how they want to create, where they want to create, and really embody what I believe a creative to be without the limits. So I think that when people see me, I want people to feel or the legacy to be left is like, Stephanie allowed us to be able to create authentically and be seen regardless. You don't have to have a friend in Hollywood that's like pumping you money. You can be you, and people will flock and come to you, and you can create your own industry if you want. So yeah, I think that would be something that would be dope to see.
I love that. Now let's move on and talk about your upcoming project, The Return Ticket. What inspired the story? I mean, you've kind of told us what inspired the story, but like, what themes are you hoping to explore in this film, apart from, you know, people watching it and wanting to come back home? What else are you hoping that we take from this film?
I want people to just see like how, I guess as Ghana, how rich the country is, how many talented people are on the continent, and how we're able to work with people and mix up like locals with people that are like from outside or have come from like whatever country they've come from, but we're able to all come together and work. So I really want to kind of be able to have a film where you see one of the top Ghanaian actors in it, Ajeti Anang, and then you have a huge actor from the States, Wavy Jones, and we're all coming together and we're creating a film. Like that's dope to me, because I haven't seen that on screen in that way. And so yeah, definitely that's what I want to do.
Amazing. What has been one of like the biggest challenges with like The Return Ticket, bringing it to life? What has been a big challenge with it? I mean, because I know a lot of money has to go into it. So like, what would you say some of the challenges you're facing are?
I mean, definitely when it comes to just like fundraising and raising the funds, because it's always like a tug and pull. People, because of the video that I did, I think it just amassed over like 100,000 views.
Right. So
a lot of people reached out and was like, hey, you know, they even want to be part of it. They want to help. They want to know what you're doing. Some people want to be nosy. So you have to kind of like navigate around that. And I think the biggest thing is always a financial constraints, especially doing independent work and having to put your own money into a lot of these things.
Yep.
And then another thing would be people not doing what they say they're going to do. So like a few people who approached me that were like, yeah, we want to be part of it, whether they're a producer or an investor. Right. It's like you start conversations and then they kind of tune off or go cold, and it's like, I don't have time to deal with. If you don't want to, you know, whatever you're trying to do, keep that to yourself, because I'm trying to actually make a film out here. Right. So there'll be people that come and slow you down, and that's how I see it, because pointless conversations all the time, and I feel like that is how the industry is. You're having back and forth conversations, and it's like there's no movement, and I'm just tired of that.
Annoying.
So tired of that. So whoops. So yeah.
So how can people get involved? Like if someone who is genuine and passionate and authentically want to support Return Ticket, whether it's funding, sharing, you know, getting involved in a project, or, you know, just helping a project develop, what's the best way? How do we go about that?
I think number one, let me tell you the different ways, and I'll tell you some free ways too. Number one, share the content that you see I post. If I'm posting something, Wavy Jones is posting something, anyone that's part of the team, we're posting it, just share it, because you never know who's watching, and you never know who might be interested in just being part of what we're doing, right? Second thing would be obviously like the GoFundMe, help to raise that money, right? If you can put in. If you can't, share it to some people. You might have some colleagues, you might have some rich uncles, like share it with them, just tell them this is what we're trying to do, because at the end of the day, it's Africa and it's film. I'm not trying to promote, like, you know, anything else other than African film, right? And I think that there's an importance there, because we don't see as much as we want to see on the screen, and so why not support it? Why not put money into the African industry? Because who's really doing it right now? There isn't people really doing it, and then the key people that are doing it, they're working it. It takes time to build the structures for them to bring their teams. So it's just, I would say the two things: share posts, repost, share it in your groups, share the GoFundMe, share the link. And those are the two really big ways that can be very helpful. It goes a long way.
I love that. Now, I know, you know, we had a conversation about, you know, your debut feature film, which is Return Ticket. But can you give us a glimpse of like characters or just something small, you know? So like, we're like, oh my gosh, when's it coming out? Like, just something small.
So for the Return Ticket, I mean, I feel like, okay, a lot of things I guess I posted anyway. So as I said, Wavy Jones, he's in it. So he's done an array of things in the industry, from playing Notorious B.I.G. to being in The Good Doctor to being in Young Rock. Like, he's done a lot of things, and he's my partner in this project as well. And that was his first time in Ghana. So that's like, this is like really kind of big stuff. Like first time essentially being on the continent, and we're filming that. His general experiences that have happened have been weaved into the script now. You have a Jetty Anang, you know, OG legend in the game, been in so many of the things we've watched growing up as Ghanaians. Yep. He's in it. His character is essentially like a father figure, so that's what I would say for Jetty. And you have Fifi Jefferson. His character is very much the plug of Ghana. So he's taken, sorry, I was mixing up the names. He's taking Wavy's character around, showing him like, you know, the vibe. So he's like the plug kind of character. Right. And yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. Like,
okay. At least we got a bit out of her. So we know somebody's come fresh to the continent, and we know somebody's taking them around, and there's a father figure. So I'm looking to see how this father figure connects. All right. Okay. Quickly, before we let you go, what's a project that you're working on, or what's something about you that people don't know that you wish that we knew more of, that maybe we could support or push? What would you say it is?
To support or push?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So what does people don't know about me that I feel like they could support or push?
Yeah.
My YouTube. Maybe not everybody knows. I restarted my YouTube channel, as I just spoke about it. And on my YouTube channel, I've just been doing a lot of vlogs, travel, So that would be great if people want to support that. On my YouTube channel, I actually have a pilot that I shot in LA called Illegal Aliens. That's something that I'm currently like going back to the grounds of redeveloping. And so I would definitely say that they can support by watching a trailer. Showing that it's still relevant, showing that the story is still something that should be told. So that's on my YouTube. So yeah.
I love that. And what would you say? What season of life is Stephanie in right now?
Elevation.
I like that.
A new chapter, and just being able to be free and create how I want to create.
Love that. And lastly, what does success look like for you?
I believe I am successful right now.
I love that.
Because if I looked at myself as a young Stephanie and looked at the stuff I would done, I would have been like, what? I shot a video with who? So I think that taking it back to the kids, you have to appreciate the journey that you've been on. Know that everything is time and progress, but appreciate what you put into the earth, because it doesn't matter about someone else validating what you're doing. If you don't believe in you, then no one's going to believe in it. And so I think that's so important. So yeah.
Now you can't come on to Talks with Noelle when we don't play a game. So we have to play a game. When we finish playing the game, I'm going to say a sentence.
Yeah.
You'll finish off the sentence with me. Okay. Ready?
All right.
You have to say the first thing that comes to your head. Gotta be quick. If your life was a movie, what would the hashtag be?
Hashtag. Wait, let's start again.
Come on, Stephanie. All right. If your life was a movie, what would the hashtag be?
Goofy.
Okay. Highlight of your career so far?
Ghana.
If you wasn't doing film and directing, what would you be doing?
Ooh, YouTuber.
A film you can watch over and over again?
White Chicks.
One director you'd love to collaborate with?
Ava DuVernay.
Ooh, good shout. Your dream actor to cast in a lead role?
Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay. The best advice you've ever received in your career?
It's hard. Don't give up.
Favorite food?
Mac and cheese, jollof rice and chicken, banku and okra. You can't ask me that question. I'm a foodie.
Okay. Go to mantra when life gets hard?
What would God do?
Love that. One thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm very introverted.
Last movie you watched?
Ooh, Sinners.
And one word to describe your journey so far?
Fruitful.
I love that. Now, before we let you go, finish the sentence for me. Something I've discovered.
Wait, hold on.
So
you
like,
started like half. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to start the sentence.
Yeah.
And you have to finish it.
Okay.
So with your whole journey, with everything that's happened, something I've discovered.
Being you and being original is the best currency you can have.
Whew. You have to repeat that. You have to repeat that. Something I've discovered.
Being you and being original is the best currency you can have.
Wow. I love that. Trademark that quickly. Before somebody... man, trademark that. Start printing them shirts and give me one as well, because I'm going to wear that. I love that. So quickly, before we let you go, are you open to collaborations? I know you have a lot happening right now, but are you open to collaborations?
Yeah, definitely, if it makes sense.
Okay, so where can our listeners just look into the camera, let our listeners know where they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, promote anything you have to promote right now?
So you can find me on all socials, steph.boateng, steph.boateng. My website, stephanieboateng.com. Follow me on YouTube. Yeah, forget about Instagram. Follow me on YouTube because I need more subscribers. But yeah, definitely my Instagram, TikTok, wherever you can find me. And yeah, stay tuned. The return ticket is the next thing coming up. So stay tuned to that.
Thank you. And quickly, your email, if someone wants to work, where do they send their portfolio to work with you? What email?
You can send it to stephanieboateng@gmail.com or just DM me on Insta or go on my website, stephanieboateng.com, and fill in that little form thing. And yeah, I'll get back to you.
Amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us today in the studio, we had Stephanie Boateng, filmmaker, director, DOP, editor, voiceover, actor. Did I miss anything? Producer, executive producer. I'm sure I've missed some other stuff, but listen, this is somebody who lives and tells African stories. Her life is basically a movie. She basically lives in film production. So it's been a pleasure to have her here. Like, I know Stephanie, but half of the stuff that she just told me, I didn't even know she was doing. So you never know people until you sit down and have like a real conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us on Talks with Noelle. Like she said, follow her on Steph.Boateng on Instagram. That's STEPH.Boateng, BOATENG on Instagram. There she's open to collaborations. Let her know your plans, what you want to do, want to get involved, want to film, you're an actor, all of that stuff. Have that conversation with her because like she said, you never know. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We've had an amazing time and we will see you next time. Until next time, this is your girl Noelle Francesca signing out and my guest Stephanie signing out. Bye guys.
Talks with Noelle.